American people.
Don't have government take away the rights and freedoms.
Yes.
They're trying to take away the most important right that we have.
Yes.
Voting. Go ahead, Jackie. Talk about it.
All righty. Well, this first one that I find so interesting is simply that he talks about debt and deficit all the time, and this is the Republicans. This is their big talking point.
Mm-hmm.
And he has inflated the deficit and the debt. Well, the first thing that I want to point out to everyone is that when President Obama came into office, there was already a $1 trillion.
No, it wouldn't.
$1.2 trillion.
No, it wouldn't. Wouldn't.
That George W. Bush left him and the Republicans approved of.
George Bush didn't do that. He left us with a surplus.
No, he came in with a surplus.
No, y'all just.
Are you going to give the Republican talking points all night? Because this will be a really long show if you do.
Well, Jackie, I can't help it. They look you right in the face.
Yes, I know. They look you
and
right in the
say
face.
It didn't happen.
Tell that lie. Yeah, it never happened. Okay.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So we're going to talk about actual reality.
Oh, okay. I got lost.
Right. Okay.
Okay. I'm ready for clip number 2 whenever you tell me.
Okay. Well,
yeah, go ahead. All right.
Okay, so there was already a deficit there. And I also one of the points that I always like to make is that George W. Bush came in with a surplus and the national debt was being paid down. It actually, we were talking about actually paying off the national debt at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And when George W. Bush came in, not only did he wipe out the current and all future surpluses,
mm-hmm.
but then he doubled the national debt.
Mm-hmm.
So you go from 0 to 10 or $12 trillion
mm-hmm.
in 8 years.
Jackie, they are the spenders. They're always there to be spent. They're the spenders, y'all, and they take the money and they give it to their cronies.
Exactly correct.
They give it to their districts and make them look real good. Well, Paul Ryan's been real good to this district as he screams about Obama spending. He wrote 5 letters asking for down near $22 billion, and he got it.
Yes, he did.
For his district.
Okay, but Brenda, let me just go on and
okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Now, if you listen to Mr. Romney's plan, what he talks about doing is attacking the deficit, and there's something more specific about that later on in these clips. But the very first thing that he would do as president is to explode the national debt by an additional $5 trillion.
Mm-hmm. If he
has pay attention to that, and we're going to explain that a little more later on,
mm-hmm.
because he just, if he listens to what he says, he doesn't listen very carefully. But
Jackie,
he contradicts himself all the time. Okay, bring
all the time. Jackie, they intend to do it the same way Bush before. As President Clinton has said to us, we've heard him say this many times, it is George W. Bush on steroids.
Yes.
And they intend to come right back in and blow it up and give more money to the rich and their cronies in the districts and stuff, and move right on and leave leave us out in the cold like they did, trying to figure out what had happened was. All right, here we go with Romney 60 Minutes Part 2.
10 years ago, when you were running for governor of Massachusetts, you were solidly pro-choice on abortion. Now you're against abortion except in cases of rape, incest, or the health of the mother. When you were running for governor, you ridiculed the idea of signing a no new taxes pledge, and yet now you've signed one. Some people, Governor, have an uneasy feeling that you're not constant, that you say whatever you have to say in a particular moment.
Well, they can look at my record. I understand that my opposition will do its very best to try and change in any way they can the narrative to fit their objectives. The president has certainly changed his view on a whole host of things. He was going to close Guantanamo. It's open. Military tribunals were going to be ended. Now military tribunals continue. The president was opposed to same-sex marriage. Now he's in favor of same-sex marriage.
But what about you? When people wonder, does Romney believe the things that he says? You say what to those people?
The principles I have are the principles I've had from the beginning of my political life. But have I learned? Have I found that some things I thought would be effective turned out not to be effective? Absolutely. If you don't learn from experience, you don't learn from your mistakes, why, you ought to be fired.
Yeah, you ought to be fired. If you don't learn that stutters, that stuttering I talk about every time he's telling a lie and he knows he's lying, searching for some words.
Yes. Well, the thing about it is that of course he didn't answer that question, and what I love about it is, look at my record. He was talking to you about your damn record.
That's it. Okay, Jackie, look at my record. I put a post.
Your record says, what your record shows us is that you go any way the wind blows. What did John Huntsman call him?
A weather vane, a well-oiled weather vane. And I said he got more flips than the dolphins at SeaWorld. And Jackie, I could not believe that he responded that way. He started with his rhetoric of Barack Obama. Don't nobody give a damn about Guantanamo Bay.
Well, no, and that's the thing, too. Like, he's comparing apples and oranges in this.
Yeah, who the hell, what are you? And it was so great that the commentator, the interviewer, said to him, what about you? We talking about you. Don't go off on that Republican spin.
What is it? Don't talk that monkey talk.
Don't talk that monkey talk to me. He was just flip flop. And, man, Jackie, yep. He doesn't even make any sense. I grabbed me a picture, and all I had to do was say the two faces of Mitt Romney, and it was the first picture when I was looking for an image on the net, and the first picture I saw was Mitt Romney. And then sliced his face to the skeleton.
Yes.
And I said he is psychopathic and sociopathic, both of which are mental, antisocial mental disorders. Something is wrong with this man. The
psychology major. She always goes back there.
Yeah, I have to go back there, don't I, Jackie?
Yes,
I should have got my damn degree because I got this shit figured out for sure.
Yes.
I don't understand this boy, but he really thought, oh yes, well, he promised it, and he promised to kill Bin Laden's ass, and he did it with about 1,500 others just like him.
Yes.
I guess he thinks the drone strikes are what? I don't know what he could call it.
But I have no idea. Maybe he thinks that they're just, day excursions.
Okay, Jackie, are you finished with that segment? Are you ready to go to number 3?
Yeah, I'm finished with that. But that just really struck me because it's just look at my record. He's talking about your record.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was screaming at the TV.
What I want everybody to know, too, is like when you watch this stuff and if that occurs to you, what? What did he say?
Yeah.
You're not alone. Okay?
That's right. Jackie, that was the first thing I said. What the fuck? He talking about your damn record, fool. Check my record.
He knows that, but see, he doesn't want to talk about it.
That's what prompted him to ask you the question. Were you listening, Governor? You have changed your mind and your position on so many.
He's talking to, and so now that he's trying to keep the crazies with him, now he's talking crazy.
I just absolutely, Jackie said, no intelligent person would give this answer. Jackie, what I would have said was, yes, David, that is true. I have changed but that's what I believed then. That's what I believed then. But now I don't believe in that anymore. I can no longer stand.
That's the thing that Romney never gives us.
He ain't got no heart.
The evolution of his thinking.
Yeah.
He never says what happened or what series of things happened to change his mind. Like when he talked about President Obama and gay marriage, what changed his mind was his daughters going to school with people whose parents were same-sex parents.
Mm-hmm.
That's what changed his mind, and him getting to know those folks and his daughters hanging out with their kids.
Yeah, Jackie, you could have a very intelligent answer, but the wrong answer was, well, just look at my record. Mother, that's what the hell we looking at right now. That's what prompted us to ask you the question. And this is all you guys say, look, okay, then we'll stick with that. I said, okay, American people, y'all heard that. Stick with his damn record.
Yeah.
Because he going to flip again.
Now, this next clip is about his ideas on taxation and his tax rate. And I have to apologize to the audience ahead of time because there's background noise in this clip because the interview at that point was being taken, was happening
on the airplane.
The plane.
I'm sorry, on the aircraft.
Yes.
And I can't figure out why those windows won't let down.
Oh, please. I knew you were going to go.
We spoke with the former governor of Massachusetts as he pitched a plan for a different nation, a government smaller than most Americans have ever seen, reform of Medicare and Social Security, a balanced budget, and cuts in tax rates. What would the individual federal income tax rates be?
Well, they'd be the current rates less 20%. So the top rate, for instance, would go from 35 to 28. Middle rates would come down by 20% as well. All the rates come down. But lest people think there's going to be a huge reduction in the taxes they owe, that's really not the case, because we're also going to limit deductions and exemptions, particularly for people at the high end, because I want to keep the current progressivity in the code. There should be no tax reduction for high-income people. What I would like to do is to get a tax reduction for middle-income families by eliminating the tax for middle-income families on interest, dividends, and capital gains.
The tax rate for everyone in your plan would go down.
That's right.
But because you're going to limit exemptions and deductions, everybody's going to essentially be paying the same taxes.
That's right. Middle-income people will probably see a little break because there'll be no tax on their savings.
Now, you made on your investments personally about $20 million last year, and you paid 14% in federal taxes. That's the capital gains rate. Is that fair to the guy who makes $50,000 and paid a higher rate than you did?
It is a low rate, and one of the reasons why the capital gains tax rate is lower is because capital has already been taxed once at the corporate level, as high as 35%.
So you think it is fair?
Yeah, I think it's the right way to encourage economic growth, to get people to invest, to start businesses, to put people to work.
And corporate tax rates?
Corporate tax rates also I'd bring down, and with the same idea, let's get rid of some of the loopholes, deductions, special deals, such that we're able to pay for the reduction. I don't want a reduction in revenue coming into the government.
And blah, 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 and pimp, 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 pimp. Go ahead, Jackie. Break down his bullshit right there.
Okay. One of the things that we discussed in a previous show, I explained about this capital gains tax and the way the Republicans are howling about that all the time. And when Romney said, the argument is it has already been taxed once at the corporate rate. That is his argument. Mm-hmm. So when they pay it to you, it shouldn't get taxed anymore. But now I want you guys to think about this, because I was telling you that way back a million years ago when I was in business school, that was one of the things they always talked about in business school. Mm-hmm. But listen to this, everybody. Whenever somebody gives you that crap, okay, mm-hmm. when you go to the store and you buy something, okay, mm-hmm. the income that you buy it with, that is taxed. Sales tax comes out of it, mm-hmm. and then with the store, they take out whatever their expenses are, and they get that money, and that is taxed. Mm-hmm. And then every time money changes over, okay, mm-hmm. you're looking at some type of taxation, except for very few instances. Mm-hmm. So that is, I'm going to use this word because I like it, a specious, meaning bullshit. Okay? Okay, so that's the first thing. All right, so and then the next thing is they continue to talk about how they want to encourage investment because that's what creates jobs. But we know that's a lie, don't we? Because we have the clip from Nick Hanauer several months ago mm-hmm. where he explained that the rich do not create jobs.
No, they don't do nothing but throw parties.
Yeah, because the way that jobs are created, since our economy now is 2/3 consumerism, meaning that our economy grows when we buy stuff, okay? We have to buy stuff from our own economy. Mm-hmm. That's how our economy grows. And so the more folks with money to spend, the faster and bigger and better the economy grows. It mm-hmm. is the virtuous cycle, the virtuous business cycle, mm-hmm. as they call it. But somebody like Mitt Romney, especially somebody who likes to put all their money offshore and doesn't want to pay taxes and wants to invest in companies all over the world, his money